So we want to talk about a very important topic when it comes to honesty. And I believe that is probably one of the biggest things in a relationship is being able to be vulnerable and honest with your spouse. And sometimes, that could be a challenge for people. There's two reasons why that could be a challenge. The first one can be that the person is not rooted spiritually, which is why sometimes a person can just continue to lie or not be honest with the significant other. And two is if a person doesn't have that space or that environment that is welcoming for them to be able to be vulnerable and to be open and honest with their significant other. And so I want to talk about the first one, which is not having that fear, right? Having the fear of Hashem, not being rooted, spiritually. And I think that when it comes to that, that person is going to, they are going to have challenges, obviously, when it comes to, speaking to their spouse or being transparent. But how does one heal from that? How does a person grow through that? And obviously, it's going to be building their relationship with Hashem, but also, too, it's going to go into what we were talking about, number two, that environment, that space. And so how does that happen? Now, your significant other is going to have to allow that patience and time to happen. And so that person who is struggling or having challenges with being open and honest, the significant other really allow them to give them that time to grow in that. So that's going to be a lot of patience. Yeah. That's going to take time. And you have to be okay with that, because that was something in our situation that kind of happened. Just to be transparent, that it takes time. You have to build that trust up. And so sometimes that's why a person has challenges, being honest with their significant other.
Yeah, speaking on that situation, I remember there have been quite a few times where in our past I wasn't honest about certain situations, but I seen, and because of my dishonesty and that breach of that breach of trust, I seen the damaging effect that it had on my wife, and it was, I think one of the worst things is to have to live with that. Is to have to live with the fact that I lied, and like my wife is feeling this certain way. It's like, man, I don't know if I can trust my husband. I don't know if I can believe everything he said. That's not a good feeling, right? Nobody wants to be in a relationship, and nobody wants to be in a relationship where there's no trust, And so, like she mentioned, the way to heal from that and to get better, number one, I have to change, or the person that is struggling with honesty, they have to change. Number one, they have to want to change and have that desire to want to change. I think having that strong spiritual root is going to be very, very important as well. But once that happens, then it's very, very important. We have to allow the person that we hurt to heal, meaning we have to give them some space. And sometimes that's frustrating on our part, because we think that they can just change and be better overnight, and it doesn't happen like that, right? So when we're not honest, it damages on the inside, and that can take some time. Sometimes it can be weeks, sometimes it can be months, sometimes it can be longer, right? And so yeah.
And so that's just like he mentioned with, giving me that space that I needed to heal and to grow. Well, the same thing, on his end is that I had to at least give him that opportunity to gain my trust back as
That's
well.
a very good
because
point.
If I didn't give him that opportunity, and I just was continually to be, upset or not trusting him, how would our relationship ever get better? How would that bond come back together? And so I literally had to grow as well with being able to trust him again. And he gave me opportunities to be able to trust him. So that's what's going to have to happen within that relationship, is you guys are going to have to work together and help each other be able to work on both ends, gaining, right, that trust again, and for me to heal with, the situation as well.